going on? You in the lab with Vo today at the spaceship, man. We in the lab. Took some time out I got an email about a week ago about Reverb's best pieces of gear, electronic gear, and I figured I'd give my opinion on it, man. I saw a couple pieces on there that I'm kind of intrigued looking at, and a couple pieces that I got that made it to my production setup already. So, yeah, let's get into that. Before we do, you know what I'm going to say. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's go. What's going on? It's Volcano Beats and Sampler King, and guess what? You live in the studio with Vo. And while you here, we're going to get into all type of things. Plugins, hardware, concepts, techniques, mix breakdowns, beat breakdowns, the whole yard. And just my general thoughts of being a producer in this crazy atmosphere that we in right now. You here, you might as well stay a while. Hit that subscribe, man. Rock with me, stay along with me, stay in tune with me. Come on in, wipe your feet at the door, wipe your feet. Yeah, wipe your feet when you come in the crib, fam. We here, we gonna vibe, we gonna work. So hit that subscribe for me, stay in tune, let's get it going. All right, first on the list, we're just gonna do the top 10 because it's a whole list, a list of 20. I'm not gonna do the 20, but I put the link in the description, man. You can go check out the list if you want. But let's go top 10. Number one, the number one on the list, Teenage Engineering OP1. What are my thoughts on this? Okay, I've never had an OP1. I've used one before. I've heard a lot of stuff that supposedly was like created with an OP1 because it's, to be honest, to me, it's like an effect in the form of like hardware. So I can probably use like RC20 and act like I got an OP1, but that's why I never really got into it because I'm like, okay, for the price tag, it never really gave me like what I felt would be like an advantage of having it. So that's why I never really got into it. But they say it's the most sold thing. I could see it being the most bought and sold because it's got so much value. These things, like, I think I was seeing them like people was going crazy buying them for like $1,500 because they stopped making them for a while. So I would never do that. Like, this thing is just an effect. Even though it's more to it, I know it's more to it. You can actually make beats on it and all that. It's got a speaker. It's got internal memory. It's dope. It's a nice little drum machine, but I don't know if I'm gonna spend $900 on that. That's not something I can get. Like a MPC like 2000 XL for that, and like have a real production piece of gear. So I ain't gonna crap on it, but hey, just give you my opinion on it. I never had it. Probably never own it unless somebody just gave it to me or left it at the studio and say, hey, you can have it, Vo. Otherwise, nah, I'm cool. Next on the list, SP-404 MK2. Okay, I ran out and got one of these immediately. I got an old school Boss 202. So I thought it was gonna feel like that, and that's crazy for someone. Now I'm saying it out loud. I got the Boss 202, and I thought the 404 was gonna work the same, but they kind of got the same lineage, but it's not. It definitely don't got the same sound, which isn't a good or a bad thing. It's just what your preference is. I like the older one sound like old crappy like gear, and that's what I like about it. But yeah, I got it, and I probably use it like twice. I use it more as like an effects box than anything. I've used it like 2 times seriously. I've had it for like over a year now. It's actually sitting right here, unplugged. Let me grab it. It's literally sitting right here, unplugged. I don't ever use it. It's not worth anything resale value because I bought it for like $600. They got me. I bought it for like $600, $500, and you see them going for like $350, $400 now, man. So probably not gonna sell it. I hate losing that much money on anything, so probably just leave it in the arsenal, man. I might use it once in a while. I bought it because I was gonna start using it in a live setting, but they added some more stuff to the MPC that I'm not gonna really need to use it with. That flex beat that Akai got, yeah, it kind of killed that in my opinion. So I kind of don't need it. But before flex beat came out, I never really got into my production workflow. It's beast when it comes to like the different things you could do on it compared to the old ones. Because on this one, you really can make full beats on here. In my opinion, the last one was just like for loop tapes and stuff like that. On this one, you could do a lot more. I like the effects on there. I had it front and center, man. It was like I was running my MPC through it, And then one day I just unplugged it and never plugged it back up, man. So yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but I got one. It's like one of those things. If you a gearhead like me, you got one. That because it was so highly anticipated, and for about a year we couldn't get one, half a year. So when we was able to get it, everybody just went and grabbed one. So I'm a gearhead. I got one. I never use it. Probably gonna keep it because it ain't worth as much as nowhere near how much I bought it for. So whatever. Next on the list, the Elektron Digitakt. I actually rented one of these for about a 2 or 3 month span. The sounds in there are nice. I would say that. The workflow, I could never get with it. So yeah, the workflow, the Digitakt is nice. To be honest, I got some beats that got some Digitakt drums and sounds in it from this drum machine or rhythm machine, whatever they call it. It's nice. I like how processing sounds in it, but the workflow, I'm such an MPC rolling type of dude that I couldn't get with the workflow, man. I started making beats on the MPC and I started using rollings and stuff like that, and I just never went away from that workflow when it comes to hardware. So it's hard for me to grasp it, man. I remember I was at NAMM earlier this year, and the Honorable Ricky Tynes was sitting there at the Elektron booth. Shout out to that dude. Of course, everybody know he's a monster at what he does. He was showing me this and the Digitone, and from what he was showing me, it was nice, man. One of the nicest machines I've seen, but I just could not get it to work the way I wanted. And like I said, I had it for like 2 hard months, sitting front and center on my desk. I couldn't get with it. Shipped it back out. You know what I'm saying? I rented it from Buy, or I forgot the name of the company, man, but they rent like electronic gear and pedals and stuff like that. I rented it out for a little while. I'm glad I did that because renting it for $30-$40 a month or something like that, and instead of me buying it for $800. So saw that I didn't like it that much and sent it back and got something else. So it's a dope thing. Buy or sell music or something like that. But yeah, it's nice. It's number 4 on the list, number 3. So yeah, it was the 3rd most bought and sold piece of gear of the year, which yeah, I could see that because I see them all the time. Whenever I go into a pawn shop or guitar center or something like that, used section, I always see them. So somebody likes them, and evidently it's a lot of people who don't like them like me because it's hard. The workflow is crazy. So yeah, it's one of those things. If I spent that $800 though, I'm pretty sure I would have figured that thing out by now. So I don't know. Maybe I need to buy one to figure out, because the sounds coming out of that Digitone, I cannot even front. That made me want to go buy one. I'm glad I was out in LA, because if I was home, I probably would have tried to buy one as soon as I came from NAMM that day. Ricky Tynes had that thing like singing, but that's another one of those things too. It's like trying to buy a keyboard when like you hearing somebody like Jordan Root is playing it. Like, yeah, he knows all the electronic gear. He gonna make it all sound good. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't fall into that trap, because I would have been salty. I'd have had another piece of gear just like that 404 just sitting here collecting dust. But the sounds are impeccable. That's what I can say. As far as like it being a drum machine, the sounds are dope. So, and the sound design behind the sounds are dope. So I can't knock it on that front, but like just the workflow, I just could never get into it. Next on the list, the Microfreak. I actually had one of these for like a year, man. I bought it I remember I bought it like Christmas right before COVID. I bought it on a whim too. I just wanted something new to play with because I was going to be at home for like 3 or 4 days. So I bought it. I was up at Guitar Center. I just bought it. I had it for about 6-8 months. Another one of those things. It just didn't work for me, man. Like the feel of this little weird little key bed they got. Even though I'm acting like I'm like a keyboard player for real. Like now I'm thinking about it, like why did that even affect me? I trigger everything from the MPC. It's just weird. I like to, if it's a keyboard, I want to be able to just touch out and just hit a key once in a while. And this key bed was weird, but the little synthesizer itself, I'm glad they expanded on it and made the Mini Freak. And I'm even more glad that they made the Mini Freak V that's in the V collection, but we'll get into that another video. But yeah, the Microfreak was nice. I like the update. They did an update when I had it, added more wavetables, so that was dope. All in all, it's just a nice synth. It's definitely worth the price tag. It just didn't work for me in that moment I was in. And now I'm thinking about it. I didn't have as much gear as I got now. So if I had it set up somewhere on the other side of the room and I was just triggering for my, like, because I got Mio XLs now. I didn't have Mio XLs then. If I had a Mio XL then, where I could just set it up over there and just trigger sounds from my MPC, trigger sounds from the MPC, then maybe I would have worked with it more, because I would have looked at it just like one of these sound modules I got down here. But I was looking at it like a synth, and that bothered me the way it felt. The navigation on it was just basic, regular. The little mod matrix on it is pretty decent for a little small synth like this too. So yeah, it was nice. I say that's why I was kind of geeked when they made the Mini Freak, because I'm like, okay, now they put a key bed on this keyboard, I may grab it. And now they made the V, I probably don't grab it at all, but I do like the synth engine, the synth architecture. It was nice. It got like a digital aggressive sound, in my opinion. And that's what I want, because I got all analog and smooth, cool stuff covered. I need something sound like Jason coming, like is a hand gonna come through the wall or something. That's what I want. So when I'm either looking for something that's ballsy and analog, whatever we call that, or something that's super aggressive, and that one fits the bill, this Microfreak. So yeah, I liked it when I had it for a sound, but I hated how it felt, and I had to get rid of it. So I only got so much space, right? All right, next on the list, the MPC One. Yeah, I never had one of these. I was salty when this one came out, I'll be honest with you. I was in LA at NAMM when they announced it. I was salty for like 2 days, because I'm like, man, like, for one, now thinking back, why was I salty? But because I'm like, man, I got my live. They made a Maschine better than the live, because some things on here is better than the live. The workflow is better than the live, as far as like the layout with all the buttons. That's what I was salty over. The buttons that made me feel like I was on my old MPCs again. And they put the exact same size screen on it as the live. That's what made me salty. So I'm like, man, this was better than the live, because that battery thing on the live is cool. Everything's cool until you like forget it is not plugged in, and you made like 9 beats and you go grab you something to eat and you come back and the thing is dead. Everything is cool until you do that a couple times. Then you understand that battery thing is not the coolest thing on earth, because what other gear you got that's battery powered? You ain't got no other gear that's battery powered. So it being battery powered is not the greatest thing on earth like we be trying to act like it is. It's not. So a One is nice. What I like about the One, it's got the Cat 5 port on it too. So it's got the Cat 5 port. I got a Denon Prime Go. So the Ableton link works better when it's Cat 5 link rather than it being through Wi-Fi. So I was briefly looking at one of these when I was like trying to like set up, like get ready for like start doing the live shows again. But then I like, nah, forget it, man. I just take the live with me and just use it until it starts smoking, man, and get another live. So it has no place for me. But when it first came out, it was like $6.99, $5.99, something like that. It was like pound for pound the best piece of gear you can buy, like of any electronic gear, in my opinion, because it was only like $5.99, and they basically gave you the live with all the same features, less internal memory, but it's got the USB and the SD card slot. So yeah, man, it's still like pound for pound, like one of the best. It's like $6.99, like a whole production studio for $6.99. You can't beat that. This is a picture of the old one, but the Plus is like $6.99 or $7.99. I know they upped the price on it, and they took away the Cat 5 port on the Plus. I need to stop playing to get one of these. While I'm talking about I don't want one, I need to get one while I still can get the one with the Cat 5 port on it, because they took it away from the new Pluses. Oh, I was salty over the CV2. That's when I was like really heavy into. Since then, I've sold like 5 or 6 cents. Old school, like late 70s, early 80 cents. But I had like, when this came out, I had like 5 or 6 of them. And I was like, man, I can't. They put CV on here. They bogus for not putting it on the live. Every other MPC got CV. The X got it. The Live 2 eventually, when it came out, got it. This one got it, but my live don't. So that's what I was salty over, the CV outputs to be able to control your analog gear with. But I got over it. It's all good. I don't even got those pieces of gear anymore anyway. I only got one piece of gear now that don't have MIDI, two. So yeah, at first I had like 7 keyboards without MIDI. So yeah, I kind of moved on to a new chapter with that one. So there's no need for me to buy one of these. But if you don't have one, it's a nice piece, man. It's a nice piece. Teenage Engineering P033 Pocket Operator. Yeah, this is the sampling one. Yeah, I never got into these. They cool. I figure they like look cool, little nice pieces, but I got a portable MPC, so, and a bag and a case for it, and I never go anywhere without my car. So if I want to take my MPC with me every time I leave out of the door, I can. So I don't have a use for something like this, but I can see other people. I've seen people rocking them. I've seen people put the skins on them, make them look like an MPC, like an old school, like a 60 or something, which is cool. That's what it really is to me. It's like a little fashion thing, man, and it's cool. Us producers give us our little gadgets too, man, to play around with. The earlier reference, Digitone, it's cool. Like I said, I couldn't get with the workflow, but the sounds, some of the dopest sounds I've heard out of like a little tabletop synth, but just couldn't get to that workflow. Like I said, I had a real like 30-minute session at NAMM because I had totally given up on Elektron synths because I'm like, I don't like the workflow, man, not at all. Barely get anything done. I couldn't. Other people can. And like I said, the dudes at the Elektron booth showed me a lot of stuff, but I'm glad I didn't listen to them and stayed over here. That'll be for y'all. But like I say, I see these Elektrons all the time, so I can see them being, number 7 on the list of most bought and sold gear this year. Yep, I can see that because I'm always seeing them. Number 8. Yeah, I'm surprised this is not number 1 every year. The Maschine MK3. Maschine, whatever you pronounce it. I told y'all I call it Maschine because it's a monster when I'm using it. So it's like a machine. This and the MPC One, in my opinion, like the 2 best pieces of gear pound for pound for what they cost. Because the MK3, you getting the audio interface, plus one of the best MIDI controllers, plus the best one-to-one integration with any software and hardware piece of gear. Because the MPC Live is dope, but it don't correspond one-to-one as well as like Maschine does. It still don't. I don't think it ever will because of the standalone aspect of it. There's no way it can. That the Maschine, I remember them talking to the guy about how they made MPC. They built it on the MPC and then integrated and made the software. That's why it works a lot better. Works dope, like, you know what I'm saying? But Maschine software and hardware was developed at the same time. Nothing can compare to a one-to-one. So I still like it. It's like one of the best sound design tools when you just like making music and you just want to just make out of world crazy sounds just on the spot. I love it. And personally, it's made me a lot of money. I've taught over 100 people how to use a Maschine, like, to be honest, since its inception. So hats off to Native Instruments. It helped me pay a lot of bills. So I can't never knock them. Like, they could have kept that standalone one, but this one, yeah, this is pound for pound one of the best pieces of gear, man. MK3. Make Noise Math Complex Function Generator Module. I'm not into semi-modular, but for this to be number 9 on the list of the most sold pieces of gear, this must be a monster. like I wish I was more versed in like what it like. I understand Eurorack, I understand what it is, but it's a synthesizer. I never used it. Let me see. I'm looking at this for the first time, to be honest. I just wanted to process everything just raw dog. Look like it's a couple oscillators. You could play around with the cycle. I mean, I'm guessing that's CV input when it comes to like playing around with the cycles. Yeah, it's crazy. It must be dope, man. I've never used it. I don't see the point of it when it comes to like somebody like me. I like having the keys there, so that's why I really never got into semi-modular like that. I got a grandmother. That's the closest I'm gonna get. I may add like a Mavis and some. I got some Muga Fuga pedals that I play around with the and the CP251 process. I'll play around with my grandmother with, but that's as far as I'm taking it. I'm not going any further because that's a rabbit hole. I'm already in enough rabbit holes. I used to be a vinyl collector, so I got a garage full of vinyl. I collect samplers, so I got every MPC. And I was a really heavy synth collector, but I'm getting rid of. I'm only keeping like the classics. So I don't need nothing else to like obsess over. So Eurorack stuff, that's why I already knew my limits, because the Eurorack stuff, it could be expensive, but it could be cheap and it could be like detrimental. Like this, it's $261. See what I'm saying? Like if I'm obsessing over a profit, I gotta spend $3,000 on that. That's $200. I would buy like one of those every month. Like a piece of like Eurorack gear every month. So that's why I'm glad I never got into it. I tried it. I bought a little rack, a little case. I started filling it up and I'm like, man, a lot of this just sound like beep beep boop boop boop. So I'm like, man, I got a grandmother though. No, I didn't. I had a grandmother. I sold it. That's what first got me into the patching. And then I wanted to fill that void, so I got the little thing. I'm like, man, I could just get another grandmother. I'm not gonna get into Eurorack, but the people into Eurorack, yeah, this thing must be a monster because it's number 9 on the list of all electronic gear this year, which is crazy. All right, last but not least, the old reliable Akai MPK Mini MK3. So yeah, I can see this one always been on the list. It's number 3 in controllers. That's high. That's dope. And it tells me, honestly, like it's a lot of people newer getting into production because this is like a beginner piece, or it could be just a piece people use on the stage when they doing live sets. So yeah, it's always going to be a bestseller. I'm surprised it wasn't higher than 10. I've probably had 4 of these in my production career, like the first one, the second one, the Arturia versions of it, because there's a lot of companies that bid off of this keyboard. I remember they came out with the one that had sounds built in for a while. That was kind of weird. Those little weird little GM sounds. Like, cause how much memory can you really put in there? So the sounds had to be whack. I never heard the sounds, but yeah. But I like this one since it came out, man. I remember when this one came out particular because it's got that little knob on it that you can use like a pitch or like a mod wheel. And the pads on this one felt just like the pads on my live, to me at least. Because the pads on the ones before didn't feel good. So, and they made the knobs a little bit different. So yeah, I like this one, man. Like, I would recommend it to any like body who need a little small MIDI controller, because it's only like this small. That's not gonna take up a lot of space. Or a beginner, man, you starting out and don't want to spend a lot of money, just buy this, save up a little bit, spend $80 on this, download some software. Like it comes with software a lot of times, man. It probably come with Live Light or what's the other one? Bitwing, like the light version of Bitwing. So it ain't like back in the day we used to be pirating and stuff. You got to do all that now, man, because you buy a controller and it comes with the DAW and other plugins, so you don't even have to pirate stuff no more. So yeah, number 10 on the list, man. So that's the top 10 most bought and sold pieces of gear in 2023. This is my last one of the year, just wrapping the year up. It's been a dope year and just a lot more to come in the weeks and the months and the years ahead. So yeah, just keep grinding, stay in the stool, keep working. Peace.